Next, we are going to be thinking about integrating massage and KT taping, kinesiology taping, for basically a variety of issues related to the foot and ankle. It doesn't matter if it's plantar fasciitis, if it's ankle instability, if it's Achilles tendonitis, any irritation related to ankle sprains, but that would equate into the instability stuff. Why not cover all of our bases here? And you said your most symptomatic one is the right one, correct? Yeah. Okay. Now, where does the symptom, you said it feels more jammed.
Yeah, like right there where your thumb is at, right there feels a lot of pressure and tension and lack of movement.
Okay. So I'll show some quick little mobility things we could sprinkle in here. Going into the bone, that's quite the visual. Look at the transitions we got. How about that? I got to do this in the future. So, this ankle joint, where the fibula and tibia actually make contact, that's the talus versus calcaneus. Now, what we're palpating for are the bony ends, the landmarks of the fibula and the tibia, which are the malleoli. So lateral malleolus, medial malleolus. And the lateral malleolus, most of the tendons of the dorsiflexors and toe extensors, they're going to run anterior to that. Two tendons run posterior to it, but that's part of the peroneal fibularis group. So you have the three fibularis or peroneus muscles. Two of them come down and they go run posterior, attached down here. You have tertius, fibularis tertius. So longus and brevis come down, tertius, anterior with the rest of the anterior stuff. So tibialis anterior extensor, digitorum extensor, hallucis. So in general, I'm like, I want to try to cover that lateral malleolus. The medial malleolus, everything runs posterior. And I'll show on the model. All the tendons run posterior and they go into the arch of your foot. And I've stopped there, but they keep going all the way down to the toes. So those are the landmarks I want to cover, as well as the Achilles tendon. But the muscles of the Achilles tendon, gastrocnemius, soleus, maybe plantaris, since they unify as Achilles, they're just plantar flexors. You know, gastroc does knee flexion too, but if we're talking about ankle stuff, then it's just ideally cover the Achilles tendon, and maybe why not cover it on both sides, kind of a deal. Those end up being the main structures because I know that's where all the tendons go. Next would be trying to get some tape across this element of the calcaneus where the plantar fascia attaches, all right? So it's gonna be where you find the heel, okay? Maybe an inch or so, something like that, but it's like, look at the heel versus where the arch starts, okay? I'd want the anchor to go past that so we have some stretch at where that plantar fascial attachment is, which is going to be right there on the calcaneus. If I cover all those bases and then I just try to stick it on there in a way where it ideally holds, then hey, we'll have done everything. We will have bracketed the lateral and medial sides of the ankle. We'll have covered the plantar fascial attachment site, where that's the most common place where the symptoms manifest, is right there. Sometimes down to the arch of the foot, but when we do that shoehorn bracket, we'll cover that one along with this. And then on top of it, we'll have a couple pieces going over top of the Achilles tendon. So it's like somewhere in there, if it's gonna have an effect, it's gonna have an effect. And here we have all the structures shown in clear presentation of them, trying to have some tape that's going to anchor on the actual muscle tissue of gastrocnemius. Maybe it'll just be at the musculotendinous junction. Come down, sorry, I bumped you. Come down, ideally come over, go past the attachments of the calcaneus, so we're affecting that area right there. And then we'll have pieces of tape that somehow find their way, and I'm going to have to just make it up as I go a little bit, that cover the anchor to help hold it down, or those anchors to help hold them down, and come up over top. And I'm going to pick based on what feels more natural in the time to go over that malleoli. I'm going to try to make this one be mostly on the posterior side of the medial malleolus, because that's where every single one of these muscles goes. All the stuff underneath the Achilles goes through that tunnel. So people will sometimes call that the tarsal tunnel, just like the carpal tunnel. Over here, I'm going to see all these crazy strands, and I'll just cover a chunk of them if I can. I'm dropping glutes and hamstrings. It's all falling apart. It's okay.
Well, it's not mine.
Yeah, as long as it's not the client's, then I'm okay. All right, now this first mobility thing, I'm just going to show some shaking. He feels jammed. I'm going to show some oscillation shaking stuff that we could sprinkle in. Usually massage therapists are good about working here, but like anything, sideline is going to give you your best advantage with getting access to the arch and the whole lateral side of and anterior side of the foot. But here is one where I find the malleoli, lateral, medial. I'm going to be inferior to those. A little pressure on that calcaneus, and then give it a wobble and send a prayer. And then look at that gastroc along the way. So I've used this one as a generic for ankle stuff for a long time. I'm not going to go into the aggressive lift and try to shift talus kind of thing. That would be for a future occasion, and I always make sure people do. I don't do that in this orientation. I usually show it in supine. There's other ways to shake, but same thing. I'm holding that calcaneus. This is more about just getting all the tissue of the leg to shake, but just get things mobilized. If I can include a little extra. Do that until my arm's tired. There's me using my left arm predominantly, and then here's me using my right arm. So I can change up those two. I'm going to give it a little lift, so I kind of pick his leg up, a little oscillation. And then ideally lots of real thorough massage, and we go from there. So I could just do a good squeeze. I'm inferior to those malleoli. And go and roll that ankle around in a circle. This is real gentle version. You know, other times you would see somebody maybe put the therapist's knee down on their hamstrings and start tractioning this. So, and then the other way. Good, and relax. Mobilized, mobilized. We don't always need to be looking for pops and stuff. We have to think like WD-40 and rusty hinges. Right? Okay. So the first ones I tape, this is where the order does matter a little bit. The first ones I'm going to tape are going to be the ones where the ends end on the bottom of the foot. So here, anchor, anchor. Now, I want to make the sections of the foot as long as possible, but I'll be able to do that pretty easily here, where I'm just going to bend the knee, we're going to hold it there for me, and then there we go. All the stuff related to the Achilles, good and long, right there. Then as said, I'd have to just be like, it's going to be a journey here. In the future, might be a good idea to trim the hair, but I think he'll probably be okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do two pieces of tape covering the Achilles. One that's gonna be a little bit more medial, one that's gonna be a little bit more lateral. So one that's gonna kind of be starting more on the arch, toes, and this is try to not get any creases. Okay, there. Then tape up. Okay, now here is an area. Now I'm gonna evert the ankle a little bit. Just hold your ankle there. This is a place, because of the power of the ankle and the Achilles, is where I do more is more, okay? Now I'm trying to have this piece of tape, the border of it, go right down the middle of the Achilles. Here, here, here. Okay? Then, if I'm trying to be fancy about this, we didn't go high enough, probably, but this would be where I would split it and have it go over and try to accommodate the medial head of gastrocnemius. Usually what you're going to want to try to do if you're going a step above and beyond is going to be make sure you tape over the area you want to, but then make up a good excuse for how you follow the anatomy the rest of the way. So if I had just a short piece of tape and I was only covering the Achilles, that's great. But if I have a longer piece, then I could keep on just following the orientation of gastroc. I might as well have one that tries to follow the medial head and one that follows the lateral head. Sometimes they'll show just splitting the tape and trying to do that, but with such a powerful muscle group down here, I'm like, to do just one piece of tape with it splitting, I tend to, and a lot of it is me coming from working with big athletes, right? So smaller people, back. Okay, another piece. I go ahead and there again, because we're going to be on the bottom of the foot still for this one. And I'm gonna, the anchors are going to overlap a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, the benefit I have here is the way I'm going to show you is both those anchors are going to get held down by another piece of tape. So now I want to invert. Okay. And then just keep going. And this one I get to just follow the other piece of tape. I'm going to have them overlap just a little bit. Little adjustments. Anywhere I see a wrinkled piece of tape, that's where you don't want that backing to be taken off too quickly. So you can just kind of slowly but surely, because this is a real odd area. Okay, here, here, okay. It's going. I usually wouldn't stand on this side. I'm standing on this side so you can see it better. I'm a little crooked. Okay. You stick. Okay, there we go. All right. Then anchor, 0. That one came out a little asymmetrical, but that's all right. Don't let your OCD get you too much. Okay, so Achilles tendon covered. There's some overlap. As long as you really get that adhesive down, usually with the hot towels, then the tape can stick to itself okay. But the anchor here at the very least I wanted just on skin, all right? Now, the next one will be showing a different way to apply this with how much with removing all the backing at once. Like this. And now I'm going to orient this. The same thing, with just more symmetrical. Just hold right there, good. This first one, I want to just go over both of those anchors. A big part of this purpose is going to be not to just support the arch, but to hold those anchors down. So then there we go. Now I let go of one side. Now I have to make this side long, right? So invert and plantar flexion. And then I'm chasing, trying to be on the anterior side of that lateral malleolus. If I'm just picking a spot. You're not going to hurt anything if you come over here, but why not be a little bit more mindful about this? So here, a little stretch. Come up. And the anchor is going to sit right on top of that. In a perfect world, yeah, this tape would be a little bit longer and I could have gone past that point. But since it's covering that space, I feel as good about it as I need to right now. So then this one, you're gonna still plantar, good. Now here I'm just gonna make it up because we don't really have any muscle over here. And the medial malleolus, we've already gone posterior. So let me show how I can kind of make that arc over. I pick it up a little bit, come back down, little adjustments. If you can kind of get it to nudge, you can get to follow little swoops and arcs. There we go. Got it. We'll see if that holds down. Trying to get to the posterior side of the medial malleolus. Anchor is sitting a little bit on a piece of tape, so not perfect. The challenge here is that as somebody starts putting, taking on and off socks and stuff like that, it's going to tend to not stay. So you hope for some temporary relief and what have you, or maybe I put this on for they're going to go do the running. They need to put it on that day. And once they get the sock on, then everything's held down pretty good. So what we used to do more of was some KT tape, and then they would do the athletic taping over top of it. So it's more or less without, and you could add more potentially, but this is the more important part, is if you come down, have this, and even if it just ended, no tourniquets again, but even if it ended there, at least it's help holding that stuff down at the bottom of the foot. And we'll see if that, so go ahead and roll the ankle around. Not seeing anything pull up. And then he'll get up and feel like he can jump 10 feet. Voila.